Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, here to the ESL Pro League. It is time for our final match of the evening. Once again, it's going to be Cloud9 taking on the Immortals, but this time things change up a little bit. We're going to be jumping over to Train for this final match tonight. Gentlemen, moving over to Train now for this match. How do we think things are going to change up here? A little bit stronger for Cloud9 or a little bit stronger for Immortals after we saw them crush Cloud9 back in the first map?
Well, it can't get any worse for Cloud9, I don't think. So I'm expecting stronger performance because...
I can't say that, and I'm not going to say that.
You're not going to say that right now, but I think for Cloud9, they did play Train at Malmo against SK and I believe Navi as well. And even though they lost to them, it showed potential, showed that it's kind of one of the go-to maps. So I think they were up 13-6 against SK, and then they kind of lost the lead and lost the match. But you know what? If they bring their game, I believe that they could actually take the map. Yeah,
I mean, this one, just on average, it's going to be closer than that, right? Like, things tend to regress towards the mean in life. That was kind of like an outlier event, 16-6. You don't see that very often, getting reset on the worst rounds possible. And also, I think Train is definitely an op-heavy map, right? Like, everyone likes to talk about that. KNG's not going to have his op. He's an insane opper, so they're definitely not going to be as good on that. And like Eric said, Train is definitely one of Cloud9's go-to maps, so this should be a solid closer game, I hope.
Well, what do we think is going to be stronger about Cloud9 in this map specifically? What is going to be improving based on what we saw that was kind of weaker back on our first map on Inferno?
I hope the coordination of the positioning, especially on CT, I like to see it a little tighter, a little better cross hires. So, you know, when someone kills your teammate, you're right there to exchange the kills. So
just more discipline in general. Yeah. I mean, like, there was that one. Do you remember that round where C9 had the bomb planted inside of A site on Inferno in this last match, and we see the guy in A site wide peek that middle box towards Moto when he has two teammates in Big Pit. Yeah. Right? Like, those two teammates in Big Pit are not getting pressured for lane or apps. And they, like, if anyone's going to peek Moto, it should be Big Pit. So he dies. C9 ends up winning the round, which is great, but they literally lost every single one of their guns. And like we said before, being reset was terrible, right? So that whole, like, cascading and snowballing of negative events was started by lack of disciplined play. So I think that's a thing just across the board that needs to happen here on Train.
Now, you're, of course, you know, being the analyst for C9, looking at all of these issues, how would you personally kind of look to fix these things? I
mean, that's not really something an analyst would fix, right? Like, that's on the players in the decision-making themselves, right? Everyone from time to time will make an imperfect play, right? Everyone's human. You just have to reduce that, right? And there's certain things you can do behaviorally to reduce the probability that a teammate will make a play, right? So if there's any kind of, like, negativity in the air or somebody's not happy with something, people's brains, you know, you're just not operating at the top level anymore. So I think just across the board, they need to keep their emotions positive, and I think that the discipline will go up.
You have to take out the ego, Blue. Take out the ego. You guys were once up top. You're not there anymore. You're back to the bottom. You're back to the bottom. Get back up there.
Well, it does look like our match is ready to begin, folks, so we're going to send it over to our casters, Scrawny and Laundry, so we'll be bringing you the action for this final map.
No ego here.
None.
No egos on this desk.
There's no space for that.
No space for that.
Too much good Counter-Strike. Takes up the whole room.
That's right.
Pro League coming at you hot and heavy, as is the pistol. We're already deep. 1:35 left on the clock as Cloud9 poise themselves what looks like towards the A side. I mean, we saw, I believe, players just now rotating off of B, so they take a bit of a gander, and now they'll put up a bit of a push. Coming into the A site as Henny falls off, and Rush claims his head. Stewie wants to push through the smoke. Oh, you know it. But he opts not to. The bomb has been able to get itself onto the site itself as Skadoodle creates more space and takes Lucas down. That's a 4v3 here to the favor of the offense. But of course, Zach holds on to Ivy until Tarek takes him. And now Immortals start it in. They're able to find that one response back thanks to Bolts, and a 2v3 still left to deal with. That's an ambitious shot from Steel. Of course, just peppering the feet of Skadoodle pushes him into the open where he's able to hit the head. Bolts with another kill, but Automatic seals the deal, and Cloud9 take their pistol.
Nice, everybody gets a kill. Automatic holds onto a smoke at the end of the round. Overall, pretty solid stuff. It was definitely a lesser traveled path to smoke Z and have everyone come out ladder on that pistol and have them run up the right side of the bomb train. That's usually like the last spot outside where you see the majority of CT Immortals left that are rotating in, so it's interesting that they're able to take control of it. But I think that little bit of presence at the beginning at Inner made influence Immortals into having people like more dedicated to watching it, and so that opened up a new avenue for them as they drop down ladder.
Of course, we did watch Immortals force with a second round in Inferno, and they do it yet again. Stewie takes damage up close as he also finds Steel, but Automatic catches Zach as he tries to cross back. And now it's Cloud9 with an ample opportunity to close out the round. Lucas next to fall as Henny takes his place. Both corpses to the wayside as Bolts joins their forces. It is Cloud9 with a conversion.
Yeah, now this lineup is pretty good at train. I don't know about with these new additions and with Tarek calling, but we know that Cloud9 in general very comfortable on train. That was definitely a solid round right there. Even it was versus a buy, they were able to come away with all 5 of their guns, and that's including 2 Galil. So these guns they didn't want to have to upgrade because they're on the more costly side of things, but certainly didn't want to lose their eco, and that's why they invested so heavily into it.
First player to the top of the ladder is already spotted by Stu, who just lobs a nade up high. Molotov to follow suit. This Tarek and Rush take 2. Zach with something to work with, but Lucas finds another. So these pistols paying off in somewhat as the AK is now retrieved, but not for very long. Tarek with the last kill. Cloud9 from both the pistol, able to get that 3-0 start.
Another quick one, they've got tons of money across the board. Galil is recycled, but they also traded 1 out for a new AK, which is nice. And on top of that, are buying an op for Skadoodle, which is another upgrade. Actually double opping. I mean, I'd actually like to ask James about this, because I feel like double opping on T-side just decreases your mobility so much, and T-side picks are so hard to come by in the first place on train that I don't know, for how expensive it is, you wonder, but there it is, Skadoodle getting a first kill, and Stewie finding an opening as well.
Yeah, close range shot from Ska catches Bolts on the B site. Stewie on E-box able to find another, so the CT stagnate on the A site despite the bomb being planted at B. Immortals immediately forced into a spot where they should probably go for saves, but Zach never turns around and Tarek takes him down, leaving the other Immortals on Ivy. Lucas trying to curb Tarek's success, but instead Tarek takes his head and leaves it all on Henny.
So yeah, I have to wonder what the strategy was out the gate. I imagine Skadoodle had a spawn. We didn't actually see the frag, but it seems like he picked someone who was pushing Inner, and they win 5 alive, have both ops, and upgrade their 1 Galil for an M4, so perfect round. And there it is, Skadoodle with the opening kill on Bolts, who is actually just coming in for the shoulder peek. You can see what he has his nade out there, that he's just intending to try to Molotov once he sees somebody, have someone potentially wallbang him for a little bit of damage, but certainly not die when shoulder peeking. So really, really sick shot from Skadoodle. And good use of the smokes outside from Stewie. He was able to get outside, very aggressive, and find an opening.
Yeah, great round from Tarek as well, just flooding the backside of Immortals as they tried to find safety. He was having none of it. Obviously able to gamble that Galil, and it nets him some success. So we're back into a buy for Cloud9. Tarek able to catch Henny already, and seeing as there's such little investment for Immortals, they will be grasping at anything they can find. Stewie gets convinced to fall back as he spots the man up close, but Steel then is dropped out of the round and leaves it in a 5v3.
Outside simply picked apart. A couple of players around Hell, just trying to find whatever kills they can, but really locked into tough positions that they can't really work with, and don't have the best pistols to use from there. And yeah, it's just a situation where the utility forces the CTs to be afraid, but then to be afraid means to take positions that are very defensive and not very useful when you have weak guns. Much better trying to go for some kind of big flank, put something together, catch someone off guard, isolate your opponents, and here's Bolts from the stairs. Kind of a versatile spot, nice headshot.
Yeah, see him firing off entire mags at this point, and no one's actually just gone for the full-out rush. Instead, Bolts goes for him. Nice shot onto Stu, almost finds another. Does take Rush for half his health, but it's Rush with a 3K, Tarek takes 2, X-Optic with a full house.
That's beast mode. Yeah, no, it's 3 players over 10K in this 5-0 start. Immortals with 2 ops, and that's to answer actually 1 op on Cloud9. So they just wanted to use that for that single round. Just still a big question mark for me, even though it ended up working out really nicely. Now, what are Immortals going to do with theirs? Stewie is going to sneak out with his op, hits a nice B-hop, and hits Ivy. What a play.
Oh,
my God.
And another to the head of
No,
Zach. A third one to steal. What an entry from Stu. He collapses the bomb site and he wants the fourth, but Bolt stops him then and there. So Immortals still have a chance, as we also have Lucas coming in from the backside, but the bomb's been planted. So all of a sudden things go from bad to worse. Immortals left in shambles from a beautiful entry on Stu.
That is the shit you can't teach. Excuse me. That's the stuff you cannot teach. I mean,
it was Stewie who came into Pro CSGO having said, of course, that like the first thing he ever tried to do and learn with CSGO was the movement.
Yeah.
It's the first thing he wanted to master was movement. And that just goes to show you what good B-hops can get you.
Yeah, that's an insane stuff. And again, it's more than just an entry. It's 3 kills. The entire outside excavated, completely clear of any opponents. There's no opportunity for Immortals to win. They knew right from that moment that they had to save for exits. That's it. And they even lose one of their players, Zach. He's fully kitted, but he's all alone. And yeah, this has got to watch that again. That was so nuts. Henny had the opportunity to get away. Headshot on Zach too, and the reaction shot on Steel. Damn.
Gets you
so nice. You have to watch it twice.
I wish I could B-hop like that. If only there was a collection of tutorial videos that maybe I could work with.
Yeah. Wait, I have that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Convenient.
Subscribing's free.
Cloud9 up by 6 as Automatic takes the front side, able to find an entry, and oh, he wants some more. Of course, Immortals playing off the back foot with a mismatched buy, but the pistol still pans out as Steel takes the head of Automatic. He actually holds things off at A, but it's towards the B site that Cloud9 now barrel into. Henny convinced back as the Molotov pops in his face, and Lucas has to take his position. Tarek gets taken down off of the train, and while the bomb will be planted, surely, it is still a 3v3.
Yeah, and they're actually taking their time here. The bomb does go down finally. We've got a player on the ramp. Rush on a big flank. It's not going to catch anyone pushing ladder, and our planter goes down. One player low HP, that's Henny. And Stewie with the smoke. This gives him options, because now it can make it seem like he crosses whether or not he does.
That was, of course, to retrieve the Molotov of his down teammate. Fires it off to the right side, and he'll try to hold it off, but there's a man above him already. That's Henny with a frag. Lucas taps bomb, and Rush is going to try to clutch this. 1v3! He sprays for the last, but he can't connect the shot. However, time is of the essence. He has a kit.
So close.
He could have it.
Oh, wow, he does.
Done.
Jeez. Jeez.
Nice try there by Rush, able to drop 2 frags, but this is worst case scenario. Immortals, they win a round by the skin of their teeth with a single gun left over. Their cash is going to allow for a buy, but everything's on the line, and Cloud9 still have plenty of money in their pockets.
Yeah, allow for a buy, but also a reset. As they buy down to 0, you know, these CT habits are much more expensive. Those incendiaries going to cost them a pretty penny, so they better put them to good use.
Again, a fast play, though, just charging into the A site. Tarek extinguishing the flames and taking shots to the head instead. Lucas dropping 2, as that's all that's left for Cloud9. Stewie and Rush still near the site, and they try to slow things down, but one's been caught, so Rush is all that's left. Full utility, bomb on his belt, but 5 opponents ahead.
Funnily enough, somebody will rotate back to inner. Oh, but they just spotted him and the bomb. Its only job is to get kills. That's a little bit. I mean, this all counts for something.
Just wants to keep the economy low. Again, Immortals investing everything they had into this one. The more he can do, the better. Able to cross back off of the flash. Ooh, almost finds Bolt, but gets screwed instead. 6-2.
Look at that. Great utility usage from Immortals. Completely wiped out by the end of the round, and it was versus a fast full execute. So exactly what they needed to do. Tons of counter pressure, and Lucas from the back lanes not smoked out. Very important to isolate Ivy or completely remove them from the picture. It's a really good reason to go Ivy in the first place, to throw that smoke for your teammates coming out. But in the worst case scenario, have a guy from TCon be able to throw that. Otherwise, take your time to line it up. I mean, fortunately for them, it wasn't even a rifle, but his aim was so on point, he was still just as big of a problem.
Now Immortals are starting to stabilize, but Cloud9 still have chances to stop it, as Scott nearly finds another. Henny lucky to be alive at this point. Able to retreat as Cloud9 secure that 5v4, tried to boost up and find another frag. Steel is still aggressive on that A site. He sees 2 smokes, so he knows there's at least 2 players towards site, but again, there is the third. And right now, the B player has rotated towards CT spawn in order to hold off Old Bomb Wrap. Automatic could be presented ahead as Henny is just beneath him. And he most certainly knows. Here's the round fire off. Henny peeks mid-train and takes Automatic. Despite the off angle, the sniper finds him and forces the 4v4. But Henny wants another. Rush toying with the idea, almost rounds the corner, puts Henny in the open where Stu will catch him and take back that man advantage. Now the bomb certainly to be planted. And Steel's about to creep in. Tarek wary of T-Con, but no one is here. It's Ladder, Z, and Old Bomb that Immortals look to work with. All 3 players on kits, frag and a flash. While they're getting closer to the site, so much time is burned off already, so 2 quick kills will seal the deal. It's going to be Cloud9 back on the board.
Very patient execute, everybody holding onto their positions perfectly, not overextending Immortals, giving them just enough respect that if Cloud9 had taken matters into their own hands individually or got a little bit antsy, they would have gotten destroyed for it. And we've got a person here who might catch bolts off guard. He's going to hear this. Oh, the bomb explosion might have masked that a bit. And I think this is Henny opting to the top of the boxes. And as you mentioned, an off angle, what a hit! Oh my God. And I mean, you had a feeling it was nuts because you're not going to pre-aim that spot, but what a shot.
Seen a couple sick flick shots tonight. That one, Cirques earlier on Mirage.
Yeah, Cirques was literally off the scope. That was something else.
It's gorgeous. 3 pistols for Immortals, op and an ump. Zach wants to get aggressive on Ivy, smokes things off, but Stewie should be aware that someone could be crept in the corner. Not that that's the case. Instead, he sits behind that server and just buys his time. As again, there's that 1 op on Henny. He needs to be the playmaker as he is Glass Cannon. But every moment he moves like that could be the moment Cloud9 strike. So he has to be cautious. Wants to commit. As Cloud9 try to do the same into the A site. They are starting to filter through, but Steel's behind them. Automatic and Stewie able to get 2 kills, make that 3, so the defense has crumbled until Lucas drops 2 with headshots off the D. The ump's still in play, and now it's all that's left. But it gets erased as Rush finds the headshot and Cloud9 find 8.
Solid Cloud9 default. Immortals, even on that round, had a force up despite having only pistol kills, and UMP's not put to good use. T-Con control was not that effective with all of the angles that Cloud9 were splitting the outside site from, and with the amount of money they have left over, are going to be a huge problem for Immortals moving forward with so many rounds left in the half, and Immortals on another save. Bolt's going to be just again shoulder peeking, but no, this time actually falling back, noticing the rush is on his way.
Best of luck. Stewie does get tagged, but he's the man to find the headshot, and that's what matters most. Molotov to block things off, and a smoke further in at that. Nice call by Immortals to just immediately rotate to the backside of CT spawn. It's going to give them the best opportunity to do something with only those double deeks. And Henny actually finds Rush. That could be a gun retrieved if they're afforded the space, but Tarek wants to stop them in their tracks as he finds another. There is the gun in the hands of Steel, the Molotov to follow suit, and now he's got a kill. Make that another. Lucas with a Deeg makes this doable. Now they don't have a kit, and there's still a Molotov for Automatic up in the top halls. Skadoodle, he stops it then in there. He's had enough, he calls it quits. Immortals sit on 2.
Yeah. Good kills, good damage, especially in a round where they had no armor to work with, totaling 5 in the last 2, and now we're going to have another buy-up from Immortals. And these are the last 2 kills from Skadoodle. Kind of important. Once he gets Steel, it's pretty much over Lucas, just to be able to save that up, hold on to that money, and deny it from Immortals as well, who probably would have taken that into this. And now I bought down to 0. Lucas is going no armor ump. New meta. About as low as you can go, really. I mean, I just even wonder why you wouldn't half armor pistol and up with no armor.
Where's he even playing? In the middle of the train yard. So maybe just hoping for someone to walk by.
You're trying to throw him a bone there.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe he's in the close-up angle.
That's because he's in a corner.
Lower ramp, of course. Idiot launders. Nope.
Flashbang forces Henny off, and as he re-peeks, Ska will take him. Caught in the open. Now, not only is he in the middle of the trains, he's on top of them. Best of luck. Automatic from beneath removes him immediately. However, Zach is still pushed up here. And Steel catches Automatic inside of the train yard, so T-Con is open, but Rush finds Ivy, and Cloud9 take the B site. So this one should be sealed. They've wrapped a player all the way through CT spawn. They move a man to the top of the ladder. Immortals are already boxed out of the B site.
Dude, everyone's confused. Cloud9 are out here handing out Kool-Aid. They're just and everybody's drinking. They are entering the B site after taking 2 kills from outside at both extremities. So that's kind of ridiculous. And Zach's got a... we all knew where he had to go.
You said the word ridiculous. You got what you wanted.
Caster's curse. Oh man, now just Steel. Yeah, Cloud9. I mean, they just spent they like worked A so hard from all these different angles, and then just went B with 2 people. That said, their default's been strong, and it's always a great idea when you don't have any weak points on your team to work the default as much as possible. Individual skill goes a long way in this game, and it is about staying coordinated in the process, and that's a skill in itself. So it's not just something that you can pug. But yeah, Zach.
It's a third-person perspective.
He's like, you know what? No, F this. Roasted.
Yeah. And to think he could have just actually ran away from the fire out the door and gotten to safety, but he wants to fight instead, and then decides to change his mind.
He wanted both, yeah.
Best of both worlds gets you nothing.
He smokes outside where what Stewie used to get outside in the first place. Oh, Rush. He's going to hear all these nades. He's going to call at least 2 Ivy. Ivy control being taken. They could guess 2 to 3, but it's not going to start a rush because they've still got 2 people here. From Cloud9, that is.
Ooh, they actually leave Zach with the D gold. Does tag Rush slightly so. Tarek also tapped down to 41. So we've got Cloud9 with 2 players hit, but all 10 players still stand. As you said, off of that smoke grenade throw, Cloud9 had hit the A site, but this time they go barreling into B. Lucas drops Stu off of A. Bolts peeks wide, finding Skadoodles secondly, and Automatic near third. But there's still the chance until Henny stops it then and there. 1v4, 22 health, and a bullet through the noggin takes him down. That's Cloud9 to still sit on 10. Immortals finding 3.
Man, it just goes to show you how strong Spools is. That angle, there's a lot of room to work with. It's spammable, but it does take a few extra bullets in something that's like really weak. Like I feel like Chicken Coop is easier to kill someone through, and beyond that, like it seems like even when people clear it, they never clear it deep enough. Someone always gets a kill from that position, and even if someone comes upper, they have a great angle to shoot them from, even though it's more 50-50.
Lots of ops in play, 2 per team. Of course, we saw Cloud9 pull this out of the hat in the opening gun round. Panned out.
Strong split coming out. Smoke at Ivy, but it doesn't seem like it's going to stop him or dissuade them from taking control of it. Zach's also really hurt outside, but he does have the op, so.
No, Automatic is in a tough spot, seeing as Bolts will watch over the smoke, and we have Lucas in the back side of the corner. Very tough crossfire to deal with, unless you do that. Crouch behind the smoke as it fades. Bolts never sees it, never able to trade, and the corner is cleared, so well done.
And it looks like they're not even going to go inner off of this.
So they still have no clue how many people are actually here. Now Rush starts to cross, and he checks Bolts' spot. That's great. 5v3 for Cloud9. Stewie still tries to pry into the A site, hoping to find an opper. And of course, there are still 2 standing. Zach, never mind, and Henny.
Oh man, so good. Just really, really careful and patient on that default. Even with all those players there, just never activating themselves, taking their time, waiting for Immortals to push, and it gets so scary when you're in the middle of the site on A, when you don't have Ivy control, or you lose T-Con, or you lose ladder. You've always got to watch your back in both positions, and Cloud9 just abusing that. And they do this a lot. I mean, just one of the best things about them, really. Now, last round here, broken by, tattered by. It's been the tail of the tape for Immortals. They've done this time and time again. Best gun Zach with an M4. Everybody else has barely anything to work with.
What a turnaround from Inferno.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like this is like watching the NRG match earlier tonight, where on the second map, it just feels like such an entirely different performance. It's refreshing. But it's not over yet. Can never count out the Brazilians. However, they have lost one. Henny is down for the count. Automatic inside the trains is finding the head of Zach, but traded back by Steel, who ultimately dies. Tarek pushing through the smoke and through connector. Stewie is able to clear his kill, so Lucas 1v4 in the final round of the half. I can't help but feel like it's safe to say 12-3.
It's looking like it. This would take a hero play. Lucas actually quite good with the deagle of all of his teammates. It's one of the better ones. Bolts hit a couple of nice ones earlier, but that's it.
There we go, 12-3, the end of the first half. Cloud9 bouncing back, but can they close it? That's the bigger question. You'll have to stay tuned to find out. We'll see you after a brief break and a word from our sponsors.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
What seems like a revitalized and rejuvenated Cloud9 is what we just saw unfold here in the opening half of Train. I am thoroughly impressed, and you are Launders.
I am Launders, thoroughly impressed as well. Nice to meet you. That was super nice. There was so many good things to say about the way that they played T-side Train, from the way they defaulted to the way they crushed Outer, or even had their fast rats go their way. Their Anticos are super clean. Everything was fresh.
Yeah?
I like it.
That's good. Again, in comparison to what we saw in Inferno, it's a completely different team. And I'd say not really much surprise. I mean, we saw them have success versus SK just recently, right, Cloud9? So there's seriously an argument to be made for their play on Train, and they have now mirrored that versus more Brazilians.
More Brazilians.
Yeah, more Brazilians. And again, this is a matchup versus, again, a team that I would put, like, in definitely like the playoff contenders, right? So we always talk about how it's early on in the season. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's early on in the season. You know, some teams will generally let a couple of games slip through, only to then, you know, kind of revamp and clutch things towards the end of the season. But splitting maps versus Immortals is Cloud9, a team that's, as we said, already off to a rough start. This is good, because later on they'll get to play guys like Ghost and Rogue. And
yeah, it's good that we're also kind of forgetting that Zach is here filling in.
Yeah.
Just that just means that they're still operating on a level that it's like, it doesn't feel like he's coming under fire from like a viewer perspective, or should be, because his performance has been just fine thus far. And I think it's rough though. 12-3, it's definitely a team effort on both sides. Firing on all cylinders or failing on all cylinders. And now Immortals, we saw Cloud9 in the first round of this game bust out ladder after putting a little bit of pressure on inner. Immortals, on the other hand, moving all of their talents towards inner. Skidoodle holding upper. Stewie here could be standing in the smoke. We'll see how far it goes if they choose the ramp smoke or not, but a lot of pressure on upper.
that's Could be a flashbang to try and blind them as they fall from the sky into the B-bomb site, where they hope for a plant. But Skadoodle, ooh, and Tarek able to drop that bomb in the process. Henny retrieves it and does try to punch in the numbers, but can he find it? Yes, he can. Stewie in the smoke goes charging forward, finding 2 and leaving it all on Bolts. Who's now dead?
Who's now dead?
Great headshot from Tarek. Great round from Cloud9. This could be a quick game if they can convert these next 2 points.
We certainly, yeah, we're reaching the danger zone, the 13, 14, 15. The part of the game where every round you lose can be 2, and 2 can be the game. So in this situation, I'm not sure if they're going to buy. Here's Stewie pushing just after the smoke dissipates off of a flash, but the flash, even though it wasn't that effective, didn't really matter too much. No one was looking at him. And Immortals have actually decided to save here. So I think because they got that plant, they're going to be buying at 14, which is a good number to buy at. It's not match points, and it's not too late.
The P250s and the Soul Flash. All they have to work with. Of course, I'm sure that flashbang will be the trigger of their execution. Nice nade. Steel and Henny never see it coming. Both now sub 50. Zach chipped to 88. But here comes the push. Stewie drops 2. Lucas finds a response. And what could be the bomb plant? Tarek whips around at the top side of the ladder as now it's all on Lucas. No chance in hell as he's already dead. And Cloud9 moved to 14.
Yeah, Stewie, it was such a weird, insane spray to kill those 2 players falling at upper. Could have died only getting 1. I definitely don't like how he was playing up close without any fast rotate. But you know, he's just so reliable, like on his own individual skill. But you see him often doing that anyway. That initial nade also helping Tarek on that flank as he had to spin around to finish that kill off. Thankfully for him, that guy only had 40 or so HP, and now Cloud9 to 14-3 realize there's going to be a buy in store for them. 2 buys from Immortals have allowed Henny to go op no armor. They might not anticipate an op in this situation, but aren't using him for any kind of fast pick as well. So some basic Ivy stuff as the push comes out inner.
Ooh, look at this. They want to find a fight. Stewie and Tarek side by side. Catch him with no gun out. Tarek even going to further this push as he drops into the ladder and gets dinked by a teammate. That distracts him and allows for Bolts to find a frag.
Did not expect him to, like, once he got that kill, just run through. Probably didn't communicate that properly. And Bolts is aware that there was 2 Oh my gosh, the timing. Bolts understood that there was definitely going to be a big flank.
Yeah.
Doubted himself. Boris, I don't know. Yeah, doubted himself. Just like I did just now.
Yep.
That little bit of hesitation can cost you.
How's it feel?
Not good. Indecisiveness.
See if Automatic can spot the feet on the cross. Does have Rush to help. And of course, all 3 Immortals players still in Ivy.
Ooh,
he knows. Smoke begins to fade, Rush begins to spray, and there comes the frag. Skadoodle with 2, Automatic takes 1, and Cloud9 find 15.
Just about over. Honestly, Immortals, not much money to work with. Cloud9 looks so good right now, and that was an early, full-on rifle round that Immortals had to work with, even though Henny had the Opno armor, but dominant stuff. Rush, I mean, he can upgrade if he wants to, doesn't have to, but Immortals now just have to figure out what they can try to do, whether it be fast or slow. Haven't had much time to do anything on their T side.
Cloud9, they want to keep up this rapid pace. Instead of pushing inner, they push Ivy, and Henny is the casualty this time round. Rush following suit, drops the bomb. That's massive control here for Cloud9, as again, Immortals die. It's Steel and Zach, 2v5. Best of luck, my friends. Zach is able to catch 1. And now it's all on Steel. So it's safe to say Cloud9 are able to split these maps here tonight. He walks into his death, and we walk into what will be the closing segment of tonight's broadcast, because that is the 4th map done and dusted. Cloud9 with a win, splitting with Immortals. 1-1 series all across the board tonight.
Yep, all across the board tonight, which is kind of dangerous for Cloud9 because they are losing a lot.
Yeah.
So that's it's tough sledding. It's good that they have that win. They look so good, but they've really got to clean it up moving forward.
Yeah, I think that, again, they're going to have definitely some easier opponents once they get towards the later portion of the season. And then if you look at a team like Optic, who's, you know, top of the region right now, well, they've already got those easy games out of the way. So we're going to throw this one back to the experts one last time as they will sign things off for the evening.
Well, thank you very much, Scrawny. And with that victory, Cloud9 now go up 2-4 in the overall season ratings so far. As the castles were mentioning, there was still a lot of climbing to do, still a lot of work to be done, of course, but it feels good, right?
Yeah.
Like that.
I was so proud of that. That was great. The super aggressive default-based approach. Hit him in the mouth. Don't let him continue the momentum from last map. Super stoked about that.
Hit him in the mouth.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's like a sports term. Like, come out and hit him in the mouth, right? Like, don't let him get any kind of control, right? Like, if Cloud9 played like a passive default, right, and they didn't win the pistol round, that first half could have gone a whole different way.
Yeah, I feel like C9, they came out just, how do you say, like...
Guns a-blazing.
No respect. They ran out, they did some, like on the first gun round, they had 2 ops on T side, and then Stewie just rushed out middle by himself.
That wasn't the first gun round.
He did.
Oh, he
got
did as
one
well.
kill. He got 1 kill on that first gun round, and I'm like, what's happening? So C9, they went with kind of like a pick technique, abusing the Ivy and inside once in a while. And when you're running a pick kind of setup, if you're always getting that first kill, as you saw C9 do, you're going to snowball into such a heavy victory. As it is almost like C9 is literally just doing the same thing in different variations, obviously, but just getting that first pick almost every single round. Yeah, it's worked.
Well, we did actually get to see that first gun round, of course, and we can take a closer look at that now on the replay as we take a better look at round 4 and see that double op setup that you were just mentioning.
So yeah, as you see, they toss like a smoke, a pick outside. Sky gets this pick inside, and Stewie's just gonna, you know, I don't see anyone. Let me just rush out here and kill Steel by the E-box. So it's just showing that after losing such a horrible first map, I think they just tossed everything out the window and kind of almost bugged it a little bit.
Yeah, this is a really cool kind of like, not a cookie cutter, but like this is a strat that a lot of teams do, is the early sandwich and E-box smoke, right? It's something that Fnatic started back during their meteoric run in 2015 and 16. Is they would do that, and then they would have like a fast contact inner, right? They would know exactly when to walk so they wouldn't be heard, and then all of a sudden the inner guy has 3 people peeking him lower ramp with no nades thrown. So right there, that's kind of what just happened, except it didn't fully play out, right? Because Ska got that early pick. But yeah, just a lot of map control, a lot of super assertive strats, so it's really cool to see.
And the highlight play from the course of this match had to be Stewie's 3K that happened on round 6. We'll get to take a closer look at that now, and I'll just leave you gentlemen here thoughts to it.
Yeah, so if you looked earlier at the spawns, what's interesting here is that Immortals went for the double push lower inner. And the problem is that Train, playing outside, it's really advantageous to play the E-box, right? It's good to play up close front mid and just not give the T's any room, right? But that's exactly what they were giving them. The problem is they wanted to do it that round, but they used their 2 worst spawns as the guys to push out Z to E-box, which availed Stewie to make that play, right? So the flash that came over the top of T mid thrown by Stu's teammate was actually too late to even hit the CTs coming out of Z. But he's like, I don't even see anyone pushing E-box. I'm just going to double B hop out to back red and just completely win this round right now. I think he's evolving into Stewie 3K. So he ate that rare candy, and I think we might see that soon.
Well, of course, if you guys did miss any of the action from that match or any of our other matches from this eve, you can go ahead and just rewind it right here from the live video, or you can hit that subscribe button down below and be sure to keep up with all of the action, as the Pro League is going to be going on for many months to come here as we lead up to those LAN finals at Odense, of course. And with that said, we can take a look at the final results from today's matches and see how things went. Very, very back and forth across all 4 of those games, correct?
Yeah, just a blowout after blowout after blowout.
Yeah, if you add up the rounds on the losing teams, it equals 18 across 4 matches. Oh, that's solid.
But the weirdest thing is it just goes back and forth. One team shutting out the other on every single map, it seems. Not a single team was able to take a 2-0 this evening. So it did create a very interesting dynamic. And now we can switch things over to the standings and take a look at now how things are looking here in the North American League. Optic still in front, even with that one loss, 7-1. We saw Misfits on the B stream. They were able to move up quite a few positions. Now at 5-1, they sit in 3rd place. Team Liquid went down a little bit as well as a result of those losses. And now looking at Luminosity, it seems like their games also pushed them up a little bit too, but mainly by the losses of Ghost there as they go 1-4 now.
Renegade's stock is definitely rising with the pickup of Jay-Z, right? So, I mean, the pickup of Nafly in place of Jay-Z.
Yeah,
Did we talk about this on stream? I'm not sure if we talked about it off stream or off stream. But yeah, so they just decided to leave Jay-Z, right? They go to Malmo.
Sweden.
Like, we don't even want to pay for that extra plane flight. we're picking up NAF. You can stay here. It's like, ooh, man. I
feels
feel
bad,
bad for
man.
the guy, right?
You gotta cut costs somewhere.
I feel bad. I mean, it's nice to him too, right? Who wants to take an extra flight, right? Like if I'm him, I don't want to come back if you have plans in sending me home. So it's like
You left stuff there.
to a certain extent, it's
Gonna mail
best
it?
for all parties.
Have the mail
Yeah.
stuff in the
Just UPS. Just put it in a
UPS
box. Send off.
UPS it?
Yeah.
It was only 2 weeks. I'm sure there wasn't that much there.
Never know.
Well,
Never know.
we can also take a look now at how Europe is shaping up, as of course our counterpart broadcast has been bringing you all of that action over there from Copenhagen. You can see North is
King in the North
is currently leading the standings there with I believe that's a 6-2 record. FaZe Clan right behind them though with the same exact thing. How are these standings looking for you guys here? Any surprises in amongst the top 14 teams in Europe?
Well, I think North being #1 is probably the biggest surprise at the moment.
Really?
Well, just because of last season and what the roster changes, not because of their recent LAN tournament. But, everyone's always expect FaZe and Astralis to be up towards the top. They're kind of there, but
Yeah,
No
I mean, Astralis, I think, actually just barely squeaked into the LAN finals
Yeah.
last season, right? Weren't they the one? Wasn't there like a super
make it.
close, like, they didn't.
They were one of the teams that got knocked out.
Yeah,
Very
so
high.
that was it, right? There was super close, like, three-way, like, they all had really close points, and they
I think it was them, Navi, and one other.
Well, they better make it this season because it's the road to Odense, right? So
Absolutely.
I think another surprising thing is seeing, I know a lot of people would probably want to talk about Big being down there after their major run, but I think more surprising is Mouse Sports, right? Like being third from the bottom. Again, it's early days, quote unquote, as everyone says, but we'd like to see some results.
Yeah.
All right, this is Pro League, all right? Let's take it serious.
Well, bringing it back to
Try
North
hard.
America now, we can take a look at the matches for tomorrow as we look to close things out tomorrow for the week. We're going to be seeing Immortals take on Luminosity, so it is indeed going to be a Brazilian affair to start off the night, and then we'll move into Misfits. I believe that'll be one of our first time seeing them here on the mainstream as they take on Optic Gaming again, as they look to maintain their top 1 position as this new European squad tries to beat the best in North America.
that's a good set of matches, and not only that, but I think CLG and Team Renegade should be a good match. It's Ricky versus Old Team, so
Yeah, I'm going to be doing overtime watching all these matches, after hours. This is some exciting stuff going on.
Well, that'll do it for us here once again at the Intel Esports Arena for the evening. We'll catch you tomorrow, folks, for more action here for the North American ESL Pro League.